So I'm using the last bit of solar charge I've got. So I've been solar charging a lot of these reviews that I've been doing, but the weather's turned and we haven't got the sunlight we had. And it's currently at 69% charging away there. So let's talk about the bike. Let's be honest, it's a good looking bike. I don't care what your ideal bike is, but this is not ugly. And as I said in my main review, those spoke wheels, that quick release front wheel, that quick release battery, it's made this bike brilliant. Magnesium frame, it's got a lovely display. The boost button works really well, and I'll explain that again in the video that's coming up. So yeah, I love this bike. And I've also put on the NCX12 Suntour suspension seat post on this, just to prove a point. But yeah, let's be honest, that's a good looking e-bike. It's everything you need. Anyway, I'm releasing this on Remembrance Sunday. I'm going to put a minute's silence in after this for you to either flick through or just have a little reflective moment for those whose lives were lost during the worst world war that we've ever seen. Well, during the worst war we've ever seen on this planet. And you can either reflect through it or you can just skip through it straight onto the video. Anyway, let's move on. So you're probably all wondering how I can give this the same score as the Engine Pro 3.0 boost when it's got less on it. Well, there's a simple answer to that, and the word simple is what comes into play. It's the simplicity of the bike. You know, there's less to go wrong on it. You know, it's got a stiffer frame because it hasn't got mid-suspension, although Engine Pro 3.0 is very stiff. It's the stiffest I've come across in a pro bike. So yeah, ultimately it's brilliant, but this is a bit stiffer. You can choose. I mean, I have to be honest with you, with these big tyres on and these now less rigid spoked wheels, you don't really need mid-suspension on this bike at all. But it's nice to have it. So today I put on the NCX Suntour suspension seat post. So it feels like I've got suspension, and that just costs you, as an upgrade, just 75 quid. When you double it up on the Engine Pro, mind you, it's a different animal altogether. You got like double mid suspension. Somebody mentioned in one of the comments the other day, why don't you just put a mid-suspension on air shock? And it's just like, well, I've done that, and it takes some farting about. This is just plug and play, and it actually feels better. So it's up to you. I mean, if you want stiffer suspension, don't bother. If you want a bit of suspension, buy a suspension seat post. All works. It's actually starting to get dark now, so I'll be changing cameras in a bit, but yeah, I'm not going to knock this. I'm pootling along at the moment on the flat at, what am I looking at, 33 kilometers an hour, 34. People saying unlock, it's not fast, but how fast do you want? I'm going to do a ModProjects version of the Engine Pro 3.0. I've got a couple of other things that I want to put on it, and then I'm going to list it and just say this is going to cost you 250 quid, and then you can go off and mod it yourself. And it's all simple mods. You can put them all on in about an hour. But it brings this bike up to being a 10. Well, as far as I'm concerned, a 10. Other people have also said, oh, I've got to put effort in, and it's just like, well, it's a torque sensor. You know, it's not a cadence sensor, so you're going to have to put some effort in. Of course you are. So like I said, ENGWE have asked me to pop in the fact that, you know, through November they got their Black Friday deals going on. Here's a picture of it all here. So yeah, and you can have my discount codes in with that. So cheapest these will ever be. And at the moment this is dropped to, I think it's £10.99. With my discount code, that brings it down to just over £1,000. Just over £1,000. For this bike, that's an absolute bargain. As you see, I'm having no problems getting up here, never do. And I'm in 7th. So, bring the gears down. In fact, of course nobody's going to let me out here. They never do. Oh. I've got a bit of tyre noise. But that's down to the fact the tyres are brand new and they haven't been scrubbed yet. But the bike itself is pretty silent, really. No bumps or squeaks. So this is the bit where I normally go, right, we're going around town. And this is the other POV of me coming around town. So fast. Yeah, I'm going to be chopping out I'm going to be swapping out the camera soon, so you're getting the chest cam POV with all the stats on. See, they got the Christmas tree up. There's a big light festival in Wakefield next weekend, so I'm going to come out on another bike and film that. Do a bit more night filming for the third e-bike, which will be the L23.0 Pro. So I'll be popping out on that. Yeah, that seat post makes a hell of a difference. And again, you can tension it up to whatever you want. If you're an heavier rider, you can change the tension on it and have it stiffer, or if you're a lighter rider and want bounce in it, you can do it the other way around. You can loosen up the suspension. Yeah, cracking. Anyway, let's change the camera POV and put my other camera on and see how we get on from that. I do like this bike. And you can see why I give it 9.8 out of 10, there was a reason. Got my safety helmet out with me again today with the light on. The Unit 1 thing. Unit 1 Aura. Same on my backpack. It's just a good bit of kit. And you know, it's like riding around at night. That lad up there ain't got a light on his bike whatsoever. I'd rather be seen, what was it in our day? Be seen, be safe. So I read in some of the comments that somebody was saying, oh, it's not very quick when it's unlocked, and the torque, you know, it don't pull you up hills when it's locked, and it's just like, well, the torque's the same. The only thing that changes unlocked is the speed. Or when it's unlocked, it only does 20 miles an hour. Well, we're on the flat here, so I'm going to put that to the test now. Let's see how fast we can get up to. And it's only a short run, so everybody knows how lazy I am. Let's see how fast we can get this up to on the flat with a 240-pound man on. So look, we're up to that. So it's not slow. It's got plenty of torque, and this is like quite a few newton meters slower than the, well, quite a few newton meters less than the Engine Pro 3.0. And it climbs hills quite easily. Really does. Climbs hills, doddle. I'm in 7th gear, starting off on the flat. Hit the boost button. Thought bonfire night was over. See if I can make this. Oh, 3 up on a scooter. Well done, lads. Yeah, so don't let anybody tell you this bike's slow by any metric. It's not. It gives you plenty of torque when it's locked, which is what you want. And here's a prime example coming up. You want torque when you're going up hills. So let's get the full torque. You hit the boost button. So you're not constantly hammering the battery. I'm having no problems getting up here. See, they started putting the Christmas lights up, which is nice. I like Christmas. I really do like Christmas. There's a few times of the year where I sort of empty my head out. The gear changes on this torn derailleur, they're nice and smooth. And I know a few of them swapped them out, but I bet you can't really tell a massive difference. This ain't an high-end mountain bike, is it? You know, it's an electric street cruiser. Over there is a video library. and I'll take you in there next week when I come down. I'll show you what sort of video library it is. It's absolutely fantastic. You'll be mad if you live in Wakefield and you know about it. Don't spoil it. Don't let anybody know. It's just fab. So I beat that tractor across the road, because I know he's going to be trying to come up this way. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, you're popping around on these things at night. They're great. I like the Lockwood. They have the Northern Soul night in there, and it's, as you can tell how loud it is as we went past. We have some cracking music on. And I'm not really a Northern Soul massive fan, but they do put some bangers on there and again. There are some franchise bars and pubs and clubs, but I mean, this used to be Rooftop Gardens over here, and that was world famous. Just a world famous, well, wasn't as famous as Batley Varieties, but they used to have acts on. You never used to charge it. You know, it used to be about, going back a long time ago, it used to be like 5-10 quid to get in, and that was in the 80s. But it was just brilliant. Yeah, this thing's no slouch. It's partly why I like it so much. It's just not a slouch. I don't know if I'm picking that wind up on my mic, but there's a lot of wind resistance on tonight. It might have a smaller battery, it might not have all the toys, it might not have mid-suspension, but the toys are nice. It's like having a Rolex, but it's still, I mean, it's not even as accurate as a Timex. I own a Rolex, and it's nowhere near as accurate as a Timex. So you're not missing out on the toys, really. I do like ENGWE's app for anti-theft. Well, it's not anti-theft, but it does let you know when the bike's being fiddled with. If you rip out the mechanism, the electronics, you damage the bike so it can't be ridden. But if they don't do that, you can still track the bike. The battery's still live, even if they take the battery out, because it's got its own battery. It's got a slightly nicer display. But what you have to ask yourself, is it worth an extra 500, well, it's more than 500 quid at the moment. Is it worth the extra 500 quid? You got a bit more torque too. It all depends on what you want from your bike. If you want a plugger, little plugger like this, if you're going out doing deliveries and stuff, this bike's ideal. But like I said, all the comments I see about it's not very quick, well, it's not a cadence sensor, and within that you're saving a lot of battery. You know, you've got the boost to get you going. I mean, these cadence sensors on some hills, they're going to make you struggle. But look, I'm just turning my legs a bit heavier than normal, but look at the speed. It's not slow and locked. If it's at the speed limit and it's locked, it doesn't lose its torque in the boost. I think people expect it to be, I don't know, not necessarily faster, but because torque and speed, two different things. I keep telling you, you know, in my other videos, torque and speed are two different things. It's good fun, this bike. It is, it's good fun. How can you give that 9.8 out of 10 and give the Engine Pro 3.0 the same? And it's because the simplicity of the bike. the money saving, all these things add up. You know, I like this bike. There's a lot to like about it. But that 500 quid saving for a slightly smaller battery, less torque, a bit less torque. If you're not bothered about mid-suspension, at the moment this bike's an absolute bargain. It's a bargain anyway. But it'll never be this cheap again. I mean, it's $10.99 minus my, so that's 200 quid off, minus my discount code. So it brings it to around about £1,000. That's an absolute bargain. On a Sauron over there on the wrong side of the road with no lights. I'm in 7th gear at the moment and off we go. Boost button on. That's a prime example of what I posted the other day. It's what the BBC see and what we see, two different things. Here's the meme I made. And that's never been more true. They see people riding around at 40 mile an hour in the dark with balaclavas on, no lights on Saurons. The same as they see us riding around on e-bikes. I like riding around on this bike at night. I like riding around on all of them at night. It's just a whole different perspective on what riding around on one of these bikes is like. It's just fab. So the Westgate run I was on about sort of ends around here. And there used to be, must have been at least 15 pubs, but some of them are closed down now and they're never going to return. But I'll show you where the start of it is on the way back. It's another Sauron there, look, gone straight through the lights. Another pub down here on the left. And there used to be another one a little bit down here as well. And on the right hand side where you turn into the prison, there used to be a big independent microbrewery. And it's gone by the way, and now there's a chai shop. There's another pub just in between the two as well. I don't know if that's still open. But this was all the Westgate run, and it was all in this. I said it had to be at minimum just in this bit, where I'll show you where the start is. 15 pubs. And I was kind of used to drinking in pubs when I was younger because I grew up in Pudsey. It used to be in the Guinness Book of Records for the most pubs in the smallest area. The other pub there, what was it? The Swan with Two Necks. So that's another pub. That used to be a pub over there, but it's not a pub anymore. So you can imagine what this was like coming up all the pubs up here when you were younger. Like 17 years old when we used to get the My mate used to drive over because he was first get driving licence. We used to drive over from Putsey to Wakefield and occasionally drive back. I'm surprised we're still alive actually. But we'd go rooftops, and it was just somewhere that wasn't Leeds, somewhere that wasn't Bradford. I was actually behind somebody last night riding down here. Well, they were riding, I was in my truck, and I was thinking, that looks hairy. But when you're on the bike itself, you don't feel it like that. There's another pub here, look. In the summer that's quite busy. You probably think some of you might see me come past it in the summer and everybody's sat outside. So there used to be another pub along here, just here on the left as well. And then there's two more on the left around here. So there's this one here on the left now, the White Hart, and then on the corner here you've got the Waterloo, and then here on the right hand side is the start of the Westgate run, and that's the redoubt. I think it's still a free house actually. So yeah, riding around on this, I feel safe on it. You know, just as much as I felt safe riding around on the Engine Pro 3.0 last week around the centre of Leeds. If you got mirrors on your bike, you got a 360 view of what's going on. Especially as you get older, when you can't turn your neck like you used to. Just ride it like a motorbike. You'll be safe. I mean, you're not ever going to be 100% safe. But you could get your car, you can get killed opening your car door getting out of a car. There's always somebody on coke or on drink that could possibly take you out, but get that with sober people. The amount of times I've been sort of close on this, none of it my fault apart from being a cyclist. Yeah, I like night riding around on these. They're just good fun. This is more moddable than the Engine Pro 3 because it needs a bit more modding if you want that sort of thing out of the bike. Like I said, at the moment, massively good value. But don't discount the Engine Pro 3.0. It's pretty much all done for you. It's pretty much all done for you. And you get the extra toys. So it's your choice really, isn't it? Like I said, don't discount either of them. They're both really good e-bikes in their own way. They both have a lot to offer. Like I said, the main thing with this is twofold. One, it's simplicity, and two, well, it's 500 and odd quid cheaper. You know, you've got the same brakes, you've got the same quick release front wheel. Oh, that's the other thing I keep hearing. Oh, I preferred those alloys. They weigh twice as much as these wheels. So that goes into the rolling mass. The rolling mass in the wheels. That's why I've had arguments over different tyres on the wheels. You know, those, I forget what they're called now, really thick tyres. I think they were Kenda. They weren't Kenda Knights. I'll put the image up on there now. It was them, and they were terrible on a 48 volt bike because it increased the rolling mass of the wheel. Some people put them on and say, well, yeah, they're all right. Kenda Craze was where it was at for me. You know, rolling mass at the wheel, it just does the motor no good whatsoever. Yeah, I like this bike a lot. I really do. And like I said, that's why I give it 9.8 out of 10. If you can live without the toys, if you can live without that 2 amp hours, and then the fact that on the Engine Pro 3.0 it's Samsung batteries, you know, this is all you need. But there's a difference between need and want, and this is the one you need because it does everything you need it to do. The Engine Pro 3.0 is the want. And don't look at it, it's a fantastic looking e-bike. Looks just as good in black. Black, you think, is your thing. It's just a cracking e-bike. I said I sort of painted myself into a corner really, didn't I? Giving 3 e-bikes the same score out of 10, but what are you going to do? Oh yeah, that's how bright the lights are. Yeah. Cracking e-bike.